Right. Hello and welcome to another episode of Love and Business with myself, Crystal Robinson, and my amazing husband, Lemoyne Robinson.
Yep.
We are super excited about this episode, and you're going to find out why in just a few minutes. So let's get the housekeeping out of the way. We want to welcome you to Love and Business Live. We are Lemoyne and Crystal Robinson again, and we're here to help you dominate in love and business. If you and your spouse are ready to cultivate a healthy mindset for business partnership, or you need to work on your communication skills or develop strategies for long-term success and legacy building, this is going to be the place for you.
Absolutely. And the entire point of this thing is for us to create a community of like-minded boss couples that is ready to take things to the next level, that's ready to dominate and thrive, right? Through raising a family, establishing businesses. We've had a lot of successes, right?
Absolutely.
In both love and business, but we've also had the trials and tribulations that come along with it. We gained a lot of knowledge and experience in doing that. And we ready to share the blueprint and build a community to share with others so that we can all share together.
Absolutely.
Let's get to it.
Absolutely. So I don't want to hold back for too much longer because we got an amazing couple that we have grown to love as family. And man, this is a great honor that we even get to have the opportunity to share a few minutes with them on today's episode. But I don't want to hold it too much longer. But we have our good friends, Mr. Quest and Mrs. Faith Green. We're gonna bring them in. We're gonna bring them in with us tonight. Come on, good people.
Man, y'all look so official. Y'all look so. I took my pen out like, man, we watching the show. Come on, take notes. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, listen, we learn from you, brother.
Absolutely,
man, what a joy.
We are talking with Faith and Quest Green, the author and founder of Quest for Faith, as well as the Greenhouse marriage community.
Absolutely.
And that's something that we have taken part in and have grown. As he says, welcome to the Greenhouse, right? Let's grow together. Yeah. So it's a phenomenal thing, man. Phenomenal work that you guys are doing.
Yeah.
I'm sure thousands of people have been blessed by it. So thanks for taking the time to have a conversation with just individuals like me and Crystal, my wife and I, because it means a lot to us. It's meant a lot to us in the past, but it means even more to us that we can sit here in a healthy relationship and have a conversation with you guys.
Man,
absolutely.
I'm talking about honor and privilege. You hear me? Honor and privilege. Anything Lemoyne and Crystal Robinson is doing, we want in.
We want in.
Ditto.
Yes,
ditto.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here, man. We like, for real, man. We love the way y'all move as a family. We love the way y'all move as a family unit with the girls. I love the way y'all do business and how y'all manage to balance both love and business. It's not an easy thing to do, but somehow y'all have, like, for real, learned to master this thing. And I watch y'all taking naps during the day where you need to, go and get the girls for lunch, you know what I'm saying, and then back to the grind again. And y'all been dope. I'm telling you, me and Faith watch the videos, the Facebook posts all the time.
Oh, they're my favorite. They're my
I promise you, you live for Crystal Post. Like, did you catch Crystal Post? What she said?
I know, right?
We the same for y'all, man. We be watching y'all. Y'all something like some superstars out there right now, though, bro.
Come on, to God be the glory.
I'm enjoying the RV
Oh.
videos and stuff.
Listen,
Look, man, we just trying to make sure that we can live fully present in the moment.
Yeah.
That's all, man.
Hey,
We just
I
want
one of
to
those
be
when
present.
we gonna take. You know what I'm saying?
hey, listen,
dude?
That's on my bucket list.
You-
RV across country RVing.
let's do
Yes.
it, man.
Uh,
Miramar Beach got a special place in my heart.
I'm
man.
just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
You see me
Hey,
out there with the barefoot.
The-
You know what I'm
Hey.
saying?
Did you see him country bumpkin living,
just
bro?
saying.
Did you see it? You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
This man got his toes in the sand. I'm
Hey.
talking about 90%
That's my
of the day.
spirit animal. I told
hey,
y'all.
I'm telling you.
The
was
more I
nice.
bring my country boy all the way out.
Hey, it was
Listen,
nice. bro.
I said at one point I just looked down. I'm like, bro, did you even bring shoes? I'm not even sure.
Hey, you the one who said it. Laptops and flip flops.
That's
Laptop
it,
and
bro.
flip-flop.
I'm trying to figure out how to get back there as quickly as I can, man.
Come on.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. But no, man, this is such an honor to be on here with you guys, and you know you've played a huge role for us,
Yeah.
you know, just over the years, man. You and Faith like just modeling what it looks like to have a healthy marriage, you know, and I know that doesn't come easy at all. Like I know it's some obstacles in that thing, you know, but you guys are modeling it out for us, and we appreciate that. You know, I mean, you guys have. You know, I feel like you've mastered, you know, what that looks like, right? To be in a healthy relationship, and not just on the outside, right? Y'all ain't just taking pretty pictures out here, like
Right.
you know, y'all. Even though y'all did take some fire pictures, man. but I know it's not just a picture, and so I want to be able to give the audience an opportunity tonight to, you know, get a deep dive into that with you guys, and you know, we're gonna get all the way into the greenhouse. You know, we're gonna talk about that, and I'm gonna be honest, what I really respect about your relationship is that you guys had these foundational pillars, right, in your marriage.
Yeah.
And I really, really want you guys to get into the nuts and bolts of that tonight, because I think it's super important. And to be honest, I didn't even think about anything like that until we came in contact with you guys.
Right. And then I got looked at, you know, like this.
Yeah,
like,
man.
where
when I
feel
saw
is
that,
at?
I said,
Where
you
our
know,
pillars
Quest
at? Yeah.
got marriage and pillars and family pillars and legacy stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's your letters? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? What's your last name mean?
You know
You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
So
that took me right back to that shirt, man. One of the first shirts that I saw that you had, man. It said, or had it. I think it said, "Marriage ain't for suckers." Right?
Oh yeah, yep, there it
And
is.
yeah. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. I'm like, bro, yeah, that you right. It's not for suckers, man. Because look at you like
he wasn't
that,
ready
you
to
know?
answer that question, man. You know, thank God this was years ago.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm ready to deep dive into that, man. So I don't know which one of you guys want to start on that, but I want to talk about, you know, the importance of setting that type of foundation, you know, in your marriage and what that looks like.
Yeah.
So you talking about the one with our last name or the pillars themselves of the greenhouse?
Man, we can go either. They both fire, but
Well,
you go whichever direction you want to start.
Let's start with the pillars. I think that because those are important, right? One of the things that people do in relationship is they focus a lot on what they don't have, and when they focus on what they don't have, it kind of makes them miserable, right?
Yeah.
Because they're always trying to attain it, and especially they're trying to do it within their own time frame. What I realized though is what causes our marriage to grow is not when we focus on what we don't have, but when we focus on what we do have and we're grateful for what we have. I think there's a difference between, we should be content, and I think there's a difference between being content and complacency, right?
Yeah,
You can be content, but we don't have to be complacent. In other words, you're content for the place and space that you're in, always looking towards growth. So we always focused on love, like the love that we have between one another. We also wanted to build a lifestyle around that. And then we focused on legacy. How do we pass that on to our children and our children's children? But as we were focusing on love, lifestyle, and legacy, we were like, okay, there's no way for us to really achieve that unless we deal with the least common denominator of the three, or just in marriage, period, because we have a tendency to just focus on the marriage and the relationship itself. But what I've come to realize is that every marriage is only as strong as its least developed individual. So I was like, okay, let's start looking at the least common denominator, who she is as an individual, who I am as an individual. And we said, all right, let's make it foundation, love, lifestyle, and legacy. And
Okay.
so, like for real, sometimes people have a tendency to be focused on their spouse and what they're doing and what they're not doing.
Mhm.
But in our marriage, I think more so than anything else, I give Faith the autonomy to point some things out to me.
Mhm.
But I spend time working on me as an individual. How am I spiritually? How am I as a father? Who am I as an individual? How am I as a husband?
Mhm.
We used to do this report card every now and then, where we check in, like, how am I doing in these particular areas as it relates to you? But long story short, that's what it is with the foundation, the love, the lifestyle, and the legacy. Once we can be unique, separate, and whole. Okay, Crystal gonna get me to talking now.
You
I
already
believe
know.
I believe you should be married and single,
Mm.
right?
Talk on it.
Now you know you got to dig deeper, bro.
Okay, so there's a difference between being unmarried and single and married and single.
Okay.
And I think I started, diving a little bit deeper into this because I was just listening to one of your boys, Miles Monroe.
Mm.
And he was talking about Adam one day, and he was giving some principles on marriage. And I went back and I read in the beginning, and I just noticed something that was really distinct, and that was that Adam was by himself long before Eve came along, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
God
Yep.
created him. He gave him a job. He gave him a place to operate in that job. And Adam was solely concerned with developing himself as an individual, right? He was unique, he was separate, and he was whole. Heavy on the whole, by the way, right?
Mhm.
In other words, he knew who he was. He knew what he was supposed to be doing. He knew where he was supposed to be doing it. And he knew who his God was, right?
Yeah.
And so he was whole, right? And he was so focused on doing what he was doing in terms of developing himself, because a lot of people don't understand that God is more concerned with you being a disciple than he is you being a spouse,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Dropping them.
And so, as a matter of fact, if you are a better spouse if you are a very good disciple,
That's
right?
Yeah.
And so I watched this whole process with Adam, and then God said, all right, let me disrupt him now, because it's quite clear that he's just focused on him. And it wasn't Adam. Adam was fine in the position he was in. It was God who said, it's not good that man should be alone because he's unbalanced. Let me go ahead and create for him a helpmeet and present him with Eve. Long story short, you see Eve now come into the picture. And now, because he was unique, he was separate, and he was whole, he knew how to be an individual within this marital relationship, if you will.
Yeah.
And I
Come
think
on.
that's where some of us mess up. We still are supposed to be individuals, right? And people like to group the word single and alone. You don't have to be married to solve the issue of being alone. You just
Wow.
have to have a
Good.
couple of friends that you can grow, because marriage ain't for everybody,
Right.
right? But neither is being single, right? You just have to decide which one you want to be a part of and be committed to the whole institution, right? So that's the whole thing. I think before getting to the love, lifestyle, and legacy is who I am as an individual. Am I single, unique, separate, and whole? And I think people don't have a problem with singleness. They have a problem with being single, because they group being single and alone together, and they're
Right.
not the same thing, right? We
And
just
we
said
know
it.
many couples, unfortunately, that are married and still feel alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's deep. That's
So
deep.
that's funny you should say that, because look at what alone means. Alone means isolated and without help,
Ooh.
right? That's what alone means. It means isolated and without help. Single means unique, separate, and whole, right? So if I'm in a marriage, there's no way that I should be isolated and without help. The Bible says, woe be unto a man that when he falls, he don't have somebody to pick him up. That should
Right.
never be the case in a marital relationship.
That's
So
right.
yeah, long story short, Crystal, those are the four pillars and how we navigate and who we are as individuals. Once we are unique, separate, and whole, I'm entering into your life to enhance your life. Your life should be enhanced simply because I'm in it,
Mm.
right? And that builds the love, right? Or nurtures the love that we're trying to create. Once we've created that love, can we create a lifestyle that nurtures that love, that supports everything that we do in terms of enhancing one another's life? Once we've created that lifestyle and it is now a way that we live, Can we pass it on to our children and our children's children? Right? That's the legacy part of it.
Yes. Bruh.
Yeah, you
So this episode is brought to you by the Greenhouse. I don't really think we have anything else to talk about tonight.
that is enough to
I mean, it's
get
so
your
much
mind
meat
right.
in that, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Like, oh my goodness. So this is your foundational piece. This ain't even the green part
Yeah,
of it.
this ain't the green part of it.
This
Green-
is just the pillars.
Mhm.
The love, the lifestyle, and the
Mhm.
legacy. You
Yep.
building your foundational your foundation of your marriage on that, right?
Mhm.
Now, okay, from there, if we can take more, take us to the green.
Okay.
Okay.
So the green is something that we developed in terms of core values. I haven't looked at that thing
Yes.
in a minute, but every now
But
and
this
then
is-
I try using more. Huh?
What you-
I was
Come
going to
on,
say, but that's unique to your family. The green,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
That's it's
yeah,
unique
green.
to your family, right?
Right.
So we
Last name
basically
green.
just broke it down for an acronym where the G is gratitude, the R is reciprocity, the E is empathy, the other E is equality, and the N is needs. Right? So basically, the gratitude is just be thankful for any and everything that God has done for you and through you as it relates to the family. Reciprocity is pretty much, I mean, self-explanatory. The equal, you treat everybody equal. The empathy, put yourself in somebody else's shoes, right? And the needs, always meet other needs before you meet your own, right?
Now,
And
when y'all were creating these, like, I mean, were y'all creating these, together as a unit? Did you include the kids? Like, how did y'all even, decide that this is what that was going to be? Your
I
core
kind of
value?
started putting it together, and then I brought it to Faith, and Faith looked at it and was like, yeah, this pretty much encapsulates what we want to embody as a family. And then we started trying to push it towards the kids. Zoe is easier to take it because she's older now. You know what I'm saying? She's 20, she'll be 21 in October. She's still navigating through some areas of life. But them two cantankerous jokers we got, they are spirited. And so sometimes when they bump heads and they start fighting with one another, we just take them. Are you operating in gratitude?
Yeah.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? Are you operating in reciprocity? Right?
That's so good.
Empathy, equality. Are you fulfilling the needs? Are you doing all of those things? If you're not doing that thing, I need you to sit here, look at what this means, and then go back and deal with your brother through this filter right here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah,
That's
man,
good.
that's huge, man. And I want to circle back just a little bit, right? To because I think we breezed over that the pillars, right? The foundation, lifestyle, love, and legacy, right?
Yeah.
When you talk about that foundation piece, one of the things that you mentioned and you dug in deep was being unique, separate, and whole.
Yeah.
Right. Do you feel like in your practice and your counseling and in your professional opinion, do you feel like individuals wanting someone else to, they say, hey, she makes me, she completes me, or he completes me, or, do you feel like that is probably one of the biggest factors that you see in marital disruption or divorce when,
Absolutely. Because like for real, I don't want to be half of nobody. They'll tell you that marriage is 50-50. It's a lie. Marriage is 100. And the mistake that people make is coming into a relationship thinking that somebody else is going to satisfy them or complete them in a particular area. What happens when they don't complete you? Then what?
Right. And that person is always giving and never, never really receiving or something like that. And now it's some resentment that starts to build up.
Right.
And I think that reflects the same way in business relationships and any relationship. So, come to the table already whole, right? As you emphasize, Adam was already whole. He had a job, he kind of knew what he was doing, and God said it wasn't good for him to be alone.
Come on.
Right. And I think that also creates, a lot of unfair expectations on the other person to have to fill a need that should have already been filled. I mean, I don't look to Quest to fill needs that I need to encompass myself, right? Like, that's not his responsibility. That's my responsibility. And same for him, because then he's putting an unfair burden on me that I will never be able to give him wholly because it belongs to him and he needs to he needs to get that on his own, whether it comes from God or it comes from, some other source, but that he has to work on that on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really seemed like that's what you were kind of referencing in chapter 4 of your new book, right? Quest for Faith, right?
Hold on. I gotta get mine in.
It seemed like that's what you were referencing, right? Because it's like, who do you want to be, right? Who do you want to be? And I think that's where a lot of times we miss the mark, especially as men. I'm gonna say I missed the mark, right? Is not knowing who I want to be, not taking the time to really go and do the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not taking the time to really dig and find out and be okay with the confrontation that comes along with it, right? Internally, and being able to challenge it. You should say, this is who I want to be, and here's the best version of me that I can offer, versus trying to contour it to what the world expects it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, that's so crazy too, Lemoyne, because I think sometimes we get caught up in the emotions of the disagreement, and we, rather than be the guide that guides our spouse back to the center, we end up pouring gasoline on the fire, if you will.
Come on.
Yeah, we veering right on with them. Yeah,
like for real. Sometimes Faith will say something to me and it'll rub me the wrong way, but when I respond in an adverse kind of way, it's just an indication that this is an area you need to grow in. Like it should be your responsibility as her covering to offer any kind of soothing words, gestures, whatever you need to do in order to bring her back to the center. Right? Yeah. That's what we do for one another. She is my peace and I'm her covering. And when we don't do that, it's just an indication of an area that we need to grow in.
Yeah. So, and when you say that, you said something earlier, like you guys are okay with like Faith saying, "Hey, Quest, I didn't like this," or "Hey, I think we should do this different." And I know it's like that with Crystal and I, but for those that are listening, some of those situations could probably end up in a whole ruckus. So they just don't say anything. Yeah, they don't say anything at all. How did you guys get to that point where it's like, I know what you're saying is from a good place and not from a place of, I just don't like you and I'm gonna talk about you like a 6th grade kid or something. You know what I mean?
When you get tired of losing.
Right.
Facts. That's facts.
Taking L's. Like I just have to realize that Faith has a perspective that I don't have, and vice versa. And I have to maintain that perspective because she sees things that I just don't normally see. Like if Faith come out the shower and I see, I'm like, thank you, God. Like, you know what I'm saying? She like, Negro, if you drop water on my floor one more time, you know what I'm saying? Right?
I don't know how you know.
Yeah, it's the same situation, but it's 2 different perspectives. Or like when I go into the closet and like, yo, I ain't got nothing to wear. To her, that mean I don't got nothing clean to wear. I mean, nothing new to wear. To me, that mean I ain't got nothing clean to wear. You feel me? Right. The 2 different perspectives. If you not sharp, what you mean you ain't got nothing to wear? All them shoes, you got a shoe store in here. What about this dress? I wore at the last. You're crazy. You only before you know it left. You know what I'm saying? But when you take an L long enough, right? You just have to say, like for real, I never thought about that. And let me go ahead and entertain. There have been many a times where I didn't consider it, pulled the trigger, and I paid for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And not in a good way. And I think sometimes you just gotta, like for real, if you're taking an L over and over again and you're not realizing that, yo, she might have a perspective or he might have a perspective that you don't have to save you from your stuff. I remember I used to be ready to do stuff and she would just like, did you think about this? Did you think about this? She would run it down the list. I'd be like, all right, because I don't want to take another L. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to smoke. So
and you guys are kind of similar to us, where the personality types are, the exact opposite. So I clearly, because we know you guys, I know Faith kind of serves as the boundary, right?
I'm his fence.
Yes. I mean, talk with that a little bit, because from my perspective, I'm big dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, let's get it out there. I have some restraint, but it's not. It's very minimal. It's very minimal. And so, Faith, what what are your tactics and techniques, right? That you use? Because a lot of couples are like this. The dynamics are just, hey, he's this way, I'm that way. We're total opposites. And so how do you, what are your, your techniques you use to kind of reel them back in and selling them down,
without seeming like a dream killer.
Yeah, or without making them, shrivel down to.
You know how to do it too.
Yeah.
No, I've gotten a lot better at not killing all his dreams.
No, yeah.
Thank you. But no, in the beginning, it definitely was difficult for us to navigate through that because we weren't speaking the same language, right? So we were speaking English, but it definitely was not the same language. And he speaks in these beautiful big vision, and I love it. I mean, I love it. It's just these grandiose dreams, and we can do this, and and if we had no fence around, that's why I said I'm his fence.
He'd be running wild right about now.
This Negro would be in the other people's yards, telling them how to put their lawn down. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, get back in our lawn, get back in our lawn. But no, seriously, it's taken work for us to communicate the way that we both need to communicate to each other. So now when he speaks to me about any kind of vision or dream that he has or idea, he knows that he has to give me the full picture, right? He's got to give
as best I can.
As best as he can. He may not have it all laid out, and that's fine, because I can help him lay it out because I am the detailed person, but I need to know the particulars about it. I need to know the detail. Well, where did this come from? Where did that, and then I'll start asking questions to kind of make him think, well, is this really a good idea or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, what happens if this happens? And what are you going to do with that? So just to make him think a little bit more critically. And really see if it's realistic, because I am the realist of the two. Dreamer, and I'm the realist. And so and that's awesome, because all dreams, if you have one, you should definitely entertain them in trying to make them come true, right? But so we have to talk about, is it right for our family at this moment in time?
Meanwhile, she talking
he may
to me.
want something. I mean, he may want something that's not necessarily good. I mean, it's a good idea. It's just not good for us right now.
Right.
Absolutely. I get it.
You have to talk through those things and really decide, is that something like, he wanted at one point, this is an example, he wanted at one point to go back to school and get his master's and PhD and all of that. And that was awesome to me. I'm like, okay, further education, that's awesome. Higher education, I love it. But what does that mean for our family? Because does that mean that now we never get to see you because you're either in class, you're working on papers, or you working till 2 and 3 in the morning trying to get your thesis? Like, it's just a lot, right?
Yeah.
The right time for us right now, when we have small children that really need both of our attention.
That's
like
good.
Zoe's off on her own, she's doing her own thing.
She grown.
But we have 2 small children that are in their ages that they're at. They really need us. It's not like they can just, chill out, in the living room all day long. They really need our attention. And so we had to really discuss what that looks like. And then, really put that down on paper and say, is this realistic for us right now? So I think when we speak like that to each other and we communicate in that fashion, then we're able to really, understand where we're coming from. And it's not that I'm trying to kill his dreams or that he's trying to kill mine. It's just that it's really, at the end of the day, what do we want for our family?
That's good.
And it seemed like, that you're getting to the crux of what it is. Like, I want you to hear my needs. I don't want you to just see me when I'm getting out of the shower, and then that's the only time you pay attention to me, because now you writing these papers, or you on Zooms doing your work, because you still got to provide for the fam, right? I want to support you, but at the same time, what is it really going to cost, right? And we're not talking about just tuition here,
Yeah, exactly. Not only the monetary cost, but is it going to take time away from us?
Yeah.
Here's the truth about it too, man. One of the ways that we focus, or I help myself to focus on what's important, because sometimes you just want what you want.
Absolutely.
Right.
So like there's no substitute, right? And then what Faith would do for me, I'm telling you, sometimes I'm telling y'all she would be good as a coach, because what a coach does is help you, first of all, establish what the goals are. And then if the way you attack them is too big, then she'll, break them. You break them down into smaller pieces, and then ask all the probing questions. And Faith used to really ask me some questions that would have me thinking. And I never looked at it as her trying to kill my dream. I just looked at her because Faith is a mama. Let me just say that for real, for real. Them boys, I swear, them jokers is the luckiest jokers on the face of this earth. When I tell you Faith is a mama, she is a mama. M-A-M-A. You feel me?
Yeah.
Bruh at times.
Yes. Or bruh. Yeah. They be like, bruh. I'm like, who you talking
I'm like,
to?
who you just talking to? I'm not your bruh.
Right? But she really does ask these questions because she's not taking into she's taking into consideration the fact that I want to do all of this extra stuff, but she's also looking at it from a family perspective, which is what I'm not looking at, because I'm not that way.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
one thing that I keep in the back of my head is marriage requires love.
That's good.
Love requires commitment.
Come on.
Commitment requires abandoning all exit strategy.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things.
Huh?
No, I was about to say, and a lot of times if you're not careful, that can get you flustered, right? When they, you're asking them questions, man, and that goes back to like chapter 7. Like, love don't always feel good, right?
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? And in your book, like, love don't always feel good, but people have that misconception. Like, hey, if we in love, sex is good, whatever, like we just good. But like those conversations, you go have more conversations. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? During the day, like you can't have that much love, man. It's gonna stop.
You gotta talk at some
point.
point.
I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that makes that's a good point. I want to, man, there's so many different directions that I want to go with this conversation. But before we like deep dive to the book, what I want to know is what pushed you in the direction to launch the greenhouse community. And maybe you can kind of tell the audience a little bit, right, about like what it's about, and then what got you guys in that place to want to do that.
I used to be the director of Thank God I'm Married for Eric Thomas and Associates, and he still pulls me in to do marriage stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm going to speak at Phenomenal Life happening this May in Mexico. Right. So he still pulls me in to do marriage stuff. But I started noticing that more and more people, not only inside, but outside the community, were coming to me for coaching. And one of the things was that like some couples might not be in a position to pay for one-on-one coaching. But we started saying, what would that look like if we did group coaching? Right. If we held this mastermind of marriages that, meet twice a month, where we can actually discuss all the challenges that you go through marriage. I can invite some speakers on. Y'all have been on already. You are a part of the community and
absolutely
thrown out the frame. And now y'all come back and teach, you know what I'm saying, about what it means to operate through love and business. And you see what I'm saying? So I kind of got led that way because once again, there were people outside the community that were coming to me and we were like, all right, let's just form. And God just started speaking to me. And he was like, you did enough things with your last name. Keep that green name alive. Greenhouse is a place where things grow, right? And if that's the case, then we want the greenhouse to be a place where marriages grow through love, lifestyle, and legacy.
That's so good, man.
Absolutely.
And we're appreciative that you launched the greenhouse community. I'm gonna tell you, the greenhouse community got us through COVID because listen, it's something about being in the same place with your spouse. It's
Why
weird.
You think we went to Florida for 6 months?
It's so weird because even prior to COVID, we was already working together, right? Basically, 24/7. But it was just weird when you couldn't do nothing else. Like nothing else. We've worked together. We've been working together since 2015, like
Mhm.
brick and mortar business. Of course, we've had other, businesses and side hustles prior to that, but it was weird to have to like legit be at home because we was working at home for the majority of the time. We had the kids at home, all of this. It was like when we was logging into the greenhouse community, it was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And man, I mean, the biggest part of it was the community.
The community.
You know,
Right.
the information
Right.
was phenomenal,
Yeah.
but being a part of the community, because I heard another one of our partners was saying, you're unique, but your situation is not. You know what I'm saying? You're unique, but your situation is not.
Everybody in there ready to bite each other
Exactly.
neck off.
So, it's somebody else that may have
That's
experienced the same thing,
Yeah.
but when you're able to have a dialogue in a safe space,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So I encourage everybody to get to be a part of the community, the
Absolutely.
greenhouse community, some community, connect so that you
That's
can be,
Yeah.
so you won't be alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you're going through something, right? Any kind of adversity, you feel like you are the only ones going through it.
Yeah.
You're in the thick of it, right? So you
Right.
can't imagine anybody else going through this type of, rough patch in your relationship, and you're just
Right.
like, man, this is bad. But when you hear other couples who have gone through that same thing and they've overcome,
Yes.
and you're like, oh, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I can make it
Absolutely.
through this. We can make it through this together. So
Yeah.
they don't have to speak the D word.
Yeah.
Right. And some of them you'd be like, hey, we straight.
We
They
all right. We gonna be all right.
Maybe started like, oh, ours is not that bad.
It's funny because I used to start all the meetings, and I still
Right.
do to this day. Like, all right, before we jump off into anything, let me know the wins. What are the wins
Yeah.
this week?
That's
And even
good.
if you don't feel like a win, but you feel like you learned something, it's still a
Mhm.
win, because if you know what I'm saying, learn, it's not a loss.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we used to do that. We, as a matter of fact, not used to, we still do it to this very day. Like you hear somebody else's story and you like, man, I thought what we was going through was rough. Y'all got it bad. Or sometimes you going through something and you tell how you got through it, and the other person's like, yo, we dealing with the same thing. And now they get their breakthrough as well. So yeah,
Right.
man.
That's good, man. Nah, like I said, bro, we are super appreciative that you guys, launched that community. It definitely helped us, through a patch, and opened us up to some new and different thinking, in addition to
Absolutely.
the greenhouse community and therapy. Thank God we still out here in these streets.
Yeah.
So
Because
no,
marriage
but
ain't the
I
same.
love it though, because like for me, community is super important, like in any aspect, having a community of business like mine, having a community of strong women that love God, having a community that believes in strong marriages, with good foundations. Like I feel like we should have a community of accountability for each and every area of our lives. And so, the greenhouse community obviously is a way, for people to be able to tap in and get some help and support in your marriage, whether it's good or not. It doesn't matter. It's the community accountability that keeps you on the straight and narrow. Yeah, it's maintenance. Don't wait till you ain't got no oil in the car right before you go put some in there. That's not how we ride.
You go about 10,000 without that oil change, you're gonna find out.
You're gonna find out real. You're gonna find out about 8,500, bro.
I'm just trying to tell you.
It's gonna get real bumpy. And so I'm just kudos to you guys for doing that and just helping to make marriages be better. And honestly, that that's a part of our goal and objective here. With just a little spin to it with the whole love and business feature is for us. We wanted to be able to share with as many people as we possibly could, that hey, it's actually possible to be in business with your spouse and thrive in your marriage and in your business. Like it is possible. However, community involvement is important.
Oh yeah.
Very important.
And we just feel like marriage is certainly the pillar of the community, of anything, right? But to be able to grow a business together or businesses together, right? And be able to show that to not only just our kids, but to others as well. I felt like that would just continue to be a catalyst to change the narrative about one marriage, right? As you
Mhm.
stated earlier, a lot of people just are like, well, no, I think I read that somewhere.
It,
But
it, it's funny, Lemoyne, when I read y'all shirts, right, and I see love and business, the first thing that comes to mind is when God breathed into Eve the breath of life.
Mm.
And then he said to them, be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth, and have dominion.
Yeah.
And when I hear those four things, I hear build something.
Yeah.
And you manage to build like a couple of businesses, right?
Yeah.
Whenever I see love and business, that's the first thing that comes to mind is being fruitful. And being fruitful is having good relationship. That's the
Right.
low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
What can you do once you have the relationship? Because I think sometimes we get caught up in the fact of we just supposed to come together, cohabitate, make some babies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Be fruitful. They think of fruit of the womb, but God didn't say be fruitful in your womb. He said be fruitful.
Be
So you
fruitful.
want the fruit of your mind, the fruit of your hands, the fruit of your lips, the fruit of your thoughts, whatever you can produce, right, in terms of your gift. And every time I see love and business, I'm like, that is it. It encapsulates the whole the mandate, if you will. Because that's what,
Absolutely.
long before the commandments come into play, long before rules and regulations come into play. He said, be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth, and have dominion.
Yes.
Yep. No,
Yes.
you're right,
Put
man.
together in order to get that accomplished. So yeah, man, every time I see
Right.
that, it comes to my mind.
And see, that's
deep.
I mean, that's big. Thanks for
Yeah.
those words.
Yeah.
'Cause
Thank
I'm
you. We're
definitely
gonna take that.
Yeah, I'm
It's
use
ours
that.
now. We appreciate
Thank
that.
you. But I mean, it seems like so many couples, man, are just okay with just having a beneficiary for their Social Security check.
Mm.
You know what I mean? They just, it's just like, hey, I got the government ain't gonna keep my money. I got, my wife is my beneficiary of my Social Security. So if I die, I mean, it's like it seems like
as
that's
deep as
what
it goes.
that's their life goal. You know what I mean?
There's so much more to it than that.
Yeah, and there's so much more to it. And people, I think they oftentimes overlook the power of marriage.
Yeah.
Right? They think about it as a, just like a ceremony type deal, but they don't think about the power of unity, right?
Yeah.
They don't think about the power of, that togetherness where you can come and you can obtain so much more and really, make some real inroads in the world, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking for the text, man, that says if two touch and agree. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason we see marriages going through what they're going through. And I'm like, man, do you understand the power that you have?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do you understand what happens when the two of you get on one accord? It ain't nothing. The devil in hell can't stop you if the two of you touch and agree.
Yeah.
So you see that a lot, I'm sure, with couples that are in business and couples that are just in marriage and relationships in general, where they allow some dysfunction to make it seem like it's over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I'm saying like for real. Dysfunction, difficulty, challenge, however you want to label it. Whenever those things happen, all it is an indication of an area you need to grow in.
Yeah.
What those instances do is they just introduce you to yourself.
Come on.
So when you feel some discomfort, then you need to take a step back and say, why do I feel this discomfort?
What area I need to grow in?
If Faith say something and I pop off, it's because she triggered something that's true in me.
Yeah.
Boy, you better say that again.
Triggered
She did what
something
now?
that's true.
She did what?
She said something and I'm triggered by it. It's
Yeah.
because she hit the nerve on something that's true, and I need to make some adjustments.
Come
But
on.
I never touch it because it's one of those things that y'all know it's some areas in your own personal life that you really don't want to touch, right? And you hold it with a certain reverence. Sometimes you hold it with more reverence than you do God. And he like, nope, I'm gonna take it right out your pocket and put it on the table. And every time I'm gonna cause her to go to that space every time and say something to you, and I dare you say something sideways to her. I dare you.
So if you triggered, it must be true.
Oh, it must be true. It must be true, because if it's not true, then why would you
respond in that way?
You know what I'm saying?
You ain't gonna respond in offensive if you ain't offended.
Yeah.
Do the knowledge. So I started, Chris, I promise you, I'm on the workout journey now. Your boy, like when I come home, Faith is like, what's that's right.
She tired of you just
not
looking
the
at
double
her,
take.
She tired of you just looking at her, bro.
That's right. But as I'm going on the journey now, and you know what I'm saying, we start to do some things, start to build up, bulk up a little bit. I noticed that in my insertion point, I would have this pain. You know how your secondary muscles support your primary muscles. So I would we were going to the chiropractor and I would tell her about the pain. And she would tell me, well, okay, it's a pain point. But she was like, there's some methods that we can use to touch it. And I would always put it off because she told me we're going to have to scrape. And if you know what scraping is like, they have this silver thing. It looks like a big oversized butter knife, and what they do is they scrape back and forth across your skin where the muscle is to break it up or whatever the case may be, so it can increase the elasticity and it can give you a better range of motion. I knew what that thing was, and I was like, no, that's painful. And it just kept getting worse and getting worse and getting worse until one day I went in there. She was like, no, I'm gonna have to touch it now. That's how here's a funny thing. After she scraped back and forth, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, that sucker was painful. I wanted to cuss in that piece. Yeah. It was painful, right?
I told her flat out no.
Yeah. As soon as she stops, you can feel the burn for about another 10 to 15 seconds. Ooh. But as it gradually wears off and you start stretching the arm back and forth, I have a wider range of rotation, because it ain't nothing worse than when you go to the gym and you're trying to hit the bench. And as soon as you hit it, I done took pre-workout, I'm ready to go, I'm charged, right? And you hit it and then you got to back off because you feel that pain. It's just like that in relationships in terms of pain points. You know the areas you're supposed to touch.
Come on.
Deal with them so that you can get the proper range of motion in your relationship. You can get the freedom and move on and deal with something else. But because you won't touch the pain points. And that's what it was for us. Like, yo, I'm not going through another situation. Say what you need to say to me. I make growth my preference now.
Come on.
Growth
is your preference.
I don't want to, like, you make the pain point the preference. Like, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? But no, the growth is the preference now. So if I got to go through the pain point to get to the growth, then that's what we're going to do.
Let me know where I can get that t-shirt from, man.
I know, bro. I know that's the next. That's got to be.
Let me know where I can get that from.
Let's do it.
Listen, man. Look, we got a little less than 10 minutes left for tonight, and I definitely got to shift us to Quest for Faith. First of all, the nameplate is absolutely phenomenal.
That's PhD.
Okay, I wish I could take credit for this smoothness. You know what I'm saying? But then you got this beautiful silhouette of a photo on the back. But Quest for Faith, the journey to experience the phenomenal marriage that you deserve. Come on, bro.
But it's a journey, man. It's a journey.
Come on, man.
It's that institution that you enter and you never graduate from.
That's right.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So man, it was a joy to well, I ain't gonna tell you it was a joy. I want to get out a little bit of hair that I had. You know what I'm saying? But I got to the point where I actually got a coach. Shouts out to Jasmine Womack, man, who was my writing coach. Her and another Dr. Joel Boyce. And they got done in 3 months, what it took me almost 3 years to do. And then I told E about it. He was like, "Yeah, you already know what to do." So he wrote a foreword, and then I'm good friends with Estelle, and so she was like, "Man, let me get one in for you." And I was like, "Come on."
Grammy Award winning Estelle, by the way. This ain't not regular Estelle, not the one you think you know from your neighborhood, but the Grammy
not down the block.
Not down the block Estelle. We talking about Grammy Award winning Estelle. Make it clear, Quest. Go and put it out there for the people. We don't know just regular people. These not regular people.
You know, from back in the day when we used to do the music thing, man, God has blessed me to, you know what I'm saying, just to have a couple relationships with some people. So, man, she really looked out, and when she sent it back, I remember I met her a couple of years ago. I used to be on the road with Tribe, like Jerobi, Fife. We all grew up together. Jerobi gets married, and he gets married on Dave Chappelle's property out in Ohio. So they fly me out there to do the ceremony for him, and that's where I met her. And man, we clicked up and been friends ever since. So man, shouts out to her for, you know what I'm saying, for writing it. And she was like, "You have no idea." This is the reason why I'm saying, Crystal, like, for real, God gave us a light. Just go on and shine. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, she was in a really tough emotional spot, I think, because of her relationship. And she was like, "I've never been at a wedding where a preacher made everybody in the room feel as comfortable as you did in a literal field. Like
Wow.
she writes it in the foreword.
Come
And
on.
when I read it, I was just like, man, to God be the glory, great things he has done and continues to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's so good,
But
man.
that's being whole, man.
That's so good.
That's being whole, you know.
And
Well, look, if you could, man, I know obviously it's a book. You guys should get the book. You should read the book. We're gonna put in the chat or at the bottom of the screen somewhere. We're gonna put there, how they can get your book and all. But I want you guys to at least try to give us a synopsis of what it is that they're gonna be getting when they get this gem of a book with this beautiful couple on it.
You're going to get a little bit of everything. I don't go too deep into it, but I was married in 2003 and divorced in 2005.
Yeah.
Zoe's mom. And between the time that I got divorced and the time that Faith and I got remarried in 2011, I did a lot of growing. I did a lot of soul searching. So when you read the book, what you're going to get is a biographical approach to what it looks like when you're transitioning from shaky to good, from good to great, but ultimately to phenomenal, right? We sometimes we touch phenomenal and we ease off of it, and then we touch it again and we fall back because we're still growing, right? But you will see us transition through through foundation. That's the reason why we said quest 4, the number 4, faith. Because the 4 areas are foundation, love, lifestyle, and legacy. So you'll see us transition through those areas, how I had to work on myself as an individual, how Faith had to work on herself as an individual, how we created that love for one another and wanted more. So our love really was the fire for our growth because I just wanted to be a better individual for her. How we formed a lifestyle with family. And then, of course, Zoe coming to live with us, and we have a blended family. Yeah, I want to look out for Mixed Greens because that's a blended podcast that we try to work on.
Hey, Mixed Greens. I like it.
Yeah, man.
So who's coming up with all y'all wordplay, man? Can we get?
Man.
What
can we do with Robinson? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
You got Mixed Greens, the greenhouse. Come on, man. You got all the good stuff. Quest for faith. You can't.
So I'm telling you, man, sometimes when I'm in the shower, I'm in here, worship in here in the morning. I keep the phone on the ledge outside the shower. She's like, why is this here? I was like, because in case I need to press the record. So sometimes God will just hit me with some stuff and I just, you know what I'm saying? She, who are you talking to? I'm like, I'm talking to the recorder. You know what I'm saying?
You be scaring me sometimes. This man talking to himself.
Yep.
Hey, let him take the phone in there because it's apparently working. It's working.
So what you see, like for real, is this biographical approach to these 4 different areas. You get to see. I'm a very transparent person because I believe transparency is what helps people grow. I hate when you go to a conference or you go to someplace and people act like they got it all together, like they were always in that place and space. We tell you exactly what we did, how we jacked up, what adjustments we made, and how we got here. And man, you see us go from love to this lifestyle and then to legacy. Inheritance is not only monetarily related, right?
Yes.
What kind of mindset are you going to leave for your children and your children's children? You know what I'm saying? What kind of thoughts? What kind of standards, morals are you going to leave for them? Your values. And so hopefully our prayer is that through this book, when Nico and Mason get older, should they decide to pick it up and read it, they'll find out how their parents got together, how they made mistakes, and how they are still rocking, you know what I'm saying, where we are. And hopefully, you know what I'm saying, they'll have relationships. Like I come from divorce. And so I'm hoping that through this, now we break that generational curse, and now we loving marriages from this point on.
Man,
hey, man, that's what's up, man. I think it's beautiful that you guys are actual practitioners. You know what I mean, of the work, right? You know, it's a continual work. Like you said, it's an institution you never graduate from. So I applaud you, man, and I admire that. You know, much respect. Much respect.
Absolutely, man. And for us, you guys have, like I said before, you've been amazing role models for us, to, mimic our marriage after, make sure that we're present with our kids. I see that through you guys. And so obviously being able to do this conversation, this is this is icing on the cake, but we get, like as Quest says, we get to do life together, right? We going to Antigua, later this year with the greenhouse community, and so we super excited to do that. But I just appreciate your transparency, that you share with us, that you share with the community, and things like this. I wish more people would value, right, being getting access to podcasts like this, or getting access to something like the greenhouse community. Honestly, I think, at least for me, I'm sure it's the same for Lemoyne, but for me, even doing this Love and Business podcast is strengthening our marriage, right? Because now we have another level of accountability that we gotta uphold, whether I want to, or not. Like we gotta figure it out, and so I know you guys have something super similar with the greenhouse community. You can't be out here leading couples and you're not walking it like you're talking, man. Right. So
and we say that all the time, because our quote that we always say, your marriage is not just for you, right? People are watching, right? Mm-hmm. So, and because now you have this podcast, people are watching you guys, and how you carry yourself. And the same for us, it's the transparency that we share with others is our testimony, but it's also, we learn from other couples. We learn from y'all. We learn from our whole community, and it brings us closer as a couple. But it also, people say to us all the time, "Oh, we love that y'all are so open." Well, we're open because we go through things just like any other couple. We're not perfect, and we go through our challenges and all of that. But at the same time, we are growing and hoping that we pass on some of that knowledge and growth to others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
That's
I
so
think
good.
You guys are doing a phenomenal job of that.
Absolutely, man. So look, unfortunately, we have ran out of time for tonight.
Hey, I want to do it again when we get to Antigua. I'm telling you, I'm bringing the road with us.
Me and you, man, we are here. You hear me? I'm gonna pack up this little equipment. I'm gonna find me a to-go mic, and we gonna get it.
I got bags for that joke already, so I'm just telling you, it's gonna.
We gonna do a podcast from the laptops and flip flops. You hear me? Like it's happening. Look, man, y'all done inspired us on so many levels. Like we already decided we're gonna renew our vows at some point in time this year.
Come on, just let us know. Let us know ahead of time so we can be in the building.
We don't even know when or how or what. Who knows? It might just be a pop-up, but we gonna do it.
Antigua.
Hey, bro. Listen,
now
I know you
ideas.
can.
Now you giving ideas.
Listen, I don't need no special outfits.
Don't make me call Jeannie. Don't make me call Jeannie. She'll arrange the whole thing.
That's all I'm saying.
Yo, I promise you, Crystal. That's another thing that's so dope about what we do. Like we just renewed our vows. Like he was the one who married us in 2011 in Dominican Republic. We went to Mexico last year. Of course, it was in our year 11, right? Because of COVID. And he was right there in Mexico again, renewed our vows 11 years later. And when we did it, it was almost surreal because the first time he did it was just me and Faith. When we came back, it was Zoe, Nico, and Mason.
Yeah.
So it felt good to say like, yo, we are a part of your legacy. In terms of affecting me. And that's really how this whole thing works. Now y'all talking about renewing vow. I just for real, I just want to be in the building. I don't care where we doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the things that really get me excited. This is cool. But when we go to Antigua and we kicking back on the beach, when you said I don't know how people see it, they're gonna see it after we get back when they see this video.
I heard that, bro. I heard that. And actually, the week we gone, that is our anniversary week. We'll be married 15 years. That week.
That's a milestone.
It is. But I'm looking at swapping up the week, right? Because I want to change the date completely. I want to renew the vows to renew our love for each other. In addition to getting my birthday back. I do. Every day. I do want to get my birthday back though. So we got married on my birthday, and every couple of years, it actually falls on Father's Day too. So you'll have my birthday, Father's Day, and our wedding anniversary. It would be on the same day, switch my birthday.
So you could get another day. So you know what I'm saying? Or move them to another day. You know what I'm saying?
9 months back, and then
And-
the month that your mom got pregnant,
and then we'll just go
Yeah.
from you just
from
move
conception.
from conception.
Yeah,
No, man. We gonna figure it out, but we gonna renew our vows sometime this year.
Yeah.
We'll make a big deal out of it somewhat simple.
Mm.
Somewhat.
Mm.
It's really just gonna be a big deal in our brains, but
Mm.
we're not doing a big shindig like we did for our real wedding. It's
It's gonna be
nowhere
the
near.
summertime.
I don't know,
I don't
man.
know.
I don't know. It's gonna be in this year because we need to make 15 years
And
solid.
just to be
Come
clear,
on.
just to
Come
be
on, we
clear,
there. I don't care
she
what we
set
gotta do.
she set the first date, so I'm gonna let her set this date too. So
Yeah,
I
come
don't,
on.
My birthday was on a Saturday, bro. That's just I flipped the coin and it
I
happened.
bet.
That's it.
Proposed
we
in
was
December,
just ready
we
to
got
be
married
married.
6 months later.
Yes.
This is a
We
big
just-
year. This is a big year too. Oh, you should be receiving something real soon because your boy touching the 50 in August. So you'll see it in a minute. You'll see
We've been looking for a reason to get back to North Carolina.
Yeah,
Come on.
Come
Come
on, y'all.
on.
Your spot is just up the road, you know.
Yeah,
It-
we-
Yeah,
we've
the
been
sanctuary.
looking for it,
We
yeah.
know.
it's like 5 minutes up the road. So
We
you know
know.
what I'm saying?
But we're gonna let y'all get out of here, man. It's been an amazing time
You know
as
y'all
usual
like
when we
food.
get to hang out with you guys. As usual, this podcast is brought to you by the Creative Meal. So if you need anything as it relates to graphics or marketing your business, you can always shout out to the Creative Meal. Also, don't forget to order your book. Quest for Faith. They can also check you guys out at the Greenhouse community. We're gonna put all of that information on the screen and in the chat for you, just to make sure that you guys can get connected with these two. Because I'm telling you, they're phenomenal people, and we're blessed to be able to have them as a part of our lives. And we looking forward to laptops and flip flops in just a couple of months. So I cannot wait. It was really good to see you guys tonight, and we appreciate you all for
Love y'all, man.
Love you.
absolutely,
Love y'all too.
man. Absolutely. Yes. But thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, and let us know some topics and discussions that you guys would like to have. Drop it in the chat on our page, or drop it in the chat. We want to try to bring to the table what is most pressing to the people. But
Absolutely.
from the bottom of our heart, man, we appreciate you guys for taking this time out and sharing it with us and our listeners, man. Like
Absolutely.
Time is precious. You can't go to Walmart and buy it back. So
Come
I
on.
appreciate that.
Come on.
Good night.
Love
We love y'all.
All right.
Yeah.